Okay, hi everybody. Good morning and welcome to our town hall. What is this? The week? We're week 4 of the program now. This is our 5th town hall, and I hope everybody's doing well with the courses. I know we've had a lot of work to do, and it has been getting progressively harder. So congratulations for sticking with it, and hopefully you're doing well and are getting the support you need on Slack. Um, so today we have some of the familiar faces from Reskill Americans here with us today. So why don't we go ahead and reintroduce our staff members. I'm Mike Koss, and I'm board member at Reskill Americans, and I've talked to a lot of you on Slack. And why don't we go around the other Reskill Americans attendee staff members, and then we'll introduce our guest. Stephanie, you want to start? You're muted.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thanks again for joining us this week. Really happy to have you here. I'm Stephanie Reitz, and I'm working with Reskill Americans on partnership development.
Staff members, and then we'll introduce our guest. Ashley.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Chapman. I'm head of communications and marketing for Reskill Americans, and I'm going to be interviewing Nick Curry today, and I'm super happy to be here. Good morning.
Thanks, Ashley, for doing that. And Juwan.
Hi, I'm Juwan, Director of Program Management at Reskill. Nice to be here today.
Great. So Ashley, did you want to introduce Nick? And I'll just let you guys take it away.
Sure. So again, hello, everybody. We are very happy to have Nick Curry with us today. And I'm just going to read a little bit about him from LinkedIn. But Nick is, his official title is he's the head of military initiatives, technical apprenticeships, and diversity internships at Amazon. So in that role, he's responsible for building the programs and leading the teams who hire members of the military community, as well as the diversity pipeline into careers throughout Amazon. And that includes technical internships, and direct hire programs. So, and Nick has had, he's been at Amazon since, let's see, it looks like you've been at Amazon since 2017. And Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And he also served in the Navy for 12 years. So Nick, thank you so much for your service. We could spend the whole session just talking about that. So lots of questions, but today we're going to be focused on what everyone wants to know, which is the programs that you run at Amazon. So if you could just take a few minutes and tell us first just give us a broad overview of the internship and apprenticeship programs that you run, and including the length of time, the pay range, and just kind of the structure of the program. So that's a big open-ended question.
Sure. Well, Ashley,
so welcome, first of all.
Yes, thank you very much. And thanks for everyone on the team to have me join you this morning. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, so I run a few programs at Amazon. I've been running them for about 4.5 years now. The main program I run is our military apprenticeship program. It's a technical apprenticeship program that has always served the military and will always continue to serve the U.S. military, but increasingly is expanding into other opportunities for other candidates. And so we're piloting a program this year for a design and research apprenticeship program that's not military focused. And so we'll be expanding those opportunities more throughout the rest of this year and into the future. The technical apprenticeship program has 8 different job families, as early in career and entry level as a data center technician, all the way up to very complex software development roles. Depending on the technical requirements of the program, there's 2 phases of an apprenticeship. All of our apprenticeships, by the way, are registered with the U.S. Department of Labor, so they are nationally recognized standards for technical training. For the training program, it's broken up into 2 parts. There's an instructor-led training, which is full-time, paid instructor-led training from day one. And that can be anywhere from 8 to 18 weeks. Data center technician training is 8 weeks. You're going to get some fundamental certifications like CompTIA, A+, Net+, and Linux+. And then for our most complex role, it's SDE. That's an 18-week Java immersive boot camp that basically trains you on full stack development during those 18 weeks. Amazon's a Java program. We do use a lot of other, coding opportunities like Java or Ruby, some Python as well, but focused primarily on 18 weeks. During those times, there's clearly defined benchmarks that you have to pass. You have to either meet the certifications or pass your coding assessments. As long as you do all that, you move into the second phase of the apprenticeship, which is called on-the-job training. On-the-job training lasts up to 12 months, depending on your performance and depending on how fast you go through your benchmarks. But every apprentice is afforded up to 12 months to complete the program. Once you complete the program, that means you've satisfied all the technical requirements and you've met all of the leadership principle requirements at Amazon. And once you do that, then you transition from an apprentice into a full-time employee. Once you convert, then you're a full-time employee and you get all the other benefits and everything else that all the other Amazonians do. During your time as an apprentice, like I mentioned, you are paid and you do get benefits like healthcare, dental, 401k, as a regular employee would as well. So that's the apprenticeship program. We've hired almost 1,000 apprentices over the last 4 years. So this program continues to scale and we continue to use it as a great pipeline for bringing in alternative talent into Amazon through the apprenticeship program. Increasingly, we're seeing the demand for some other internships. Traditionally, internships are for those people that are in college, but not everyone has access or opportunity to college. So we bring in other diversity internships into Amazon as well. Primarily, we focus on one group today. There's a group based in Seattle called ADA, and ADA is a internship program that's designed for women and gender diverse adults, and that's a software development software development internship as well. That one is a little bit different. You go through 7 months of classroom training with ADA. They have their own program that helps you develop your industry skills, your technical skills, and your coding skills. And then you come to Amazon for 5 months for your internship. And at the end of that internship, you have an opportunity to complete an assessment and convert into a full-time employee as well. ADA has a stipend, so there is a paid aspect of the 5 months. And ADA also partners with other companies in the Pacific Northwest and also is increasing their scope to expand to other locations as well. But those are the two types of programs that I run. We've been participating in the internship program since 2012 and the apprenticeship since 2014. Both are great ways to bring access and opportunities to other types of talent that normally don't come in through our traditional channels on Amazon.
Wow, thank you. That's a lot of information, and I'm sure people will have a lot of questions. And I wanted to just say we'll be taking questions at the end of this interview with Nick and opening it up, and we'll let you know when we do. My internet is slightly spotty, so I'm just going to excuse that now, and in the event that someone else needs to jump in and take over for me. Thank you, Nick. Can you speak to the kind of criteria for both of these programs and how you go about selecting candidates?
Sure. So for the,
of course, in particular skills and functional expertise that would be required.
Absolutely. So for the apprenticeship program, most of the candidates today have to have some connection to the U.S. military. So those are going to be people that either serve themselves, are currently serving and are transitioning out, or their spouses. Programs today are including all of the military community. In the future, and as we expand going into different types of talent pools, there won't be that necessary military requirement. And so we'll figure out what that looks like for other candidates. But right now, if anyone on the call is a veteran or a military spouse, we definitely have an opportunity for you potentially in our military apprenticeship program. For the internships, it depends on the organization that we partner with. So increasingly, we're partnering with other organizations that offer internships for their candidates. And so, for example, you'd have to go through the other program that I mentioned. You'd have to go through their interview process and get selected. But once you're selected, you get the opportunity to match with Amazon. So that's pretty nice. All the candidates.
Sorry, I just have a question.
Sure.
We said the other program, meaning in particular, the example was ADA or ADA developers.
Correct.
Was that so? They do the selection, so it's working with another organization. Okay.
Correct. So we either do it ourselves or we partner with
Go
others.
ahead.
Yeah, and for the interview is the same for everybody. At Amazon, we focus on our 14 leadership principles. Those are public. You can go on to, you can Google interviewing at Amazon, and they'll bring up the 14 leadership principles. That's the most important thing at Amazon. The reason my programs exist is because we know that culturally it's important to bring in people that fit in it with Amazon's peculiarity. We are a very peculiar company, and we have 14 leadership principles that we really focus on for our candidates. And we can teach the tech. The tech is also important, but it's not as important as fitting in culturally at Amazon. And so that's super important for us. And so everyone is evaluated against their leadership principles. And the reason I have my programs is because we will use the apprenticeship program or the internship program to fill in any technical gaps during the time that you're with us, so that you have that opportunity to continue on at Amazon afterwards.
And out of curiosity, I mean, I know people can Google the leadership, but can you just give a couple examples of what those kind of soft skills would be, the leadership principles?
Sure.
Without listing all of them.
Yeah, so I'll talk about my favorite one, which is learn and be curious. Learn and be curious basically boils down to, we don't want people to come into Amazon and say, oh, I made it, I have my job at Amazon, and put their feet up. That doesn't work around here. We want people that have an insatiable appetite to continue to learn and develop themselves. And so we ask you questions. A simple question could be, tell me the last time you learned something. And that open-ended question is going to be something that we want you to talk about, what you learned. What's the last thing that you learned? It doesn't matter if you're in a technical training program. It could be woodworking. You could have taught yourself how to make an entertainment console. That's awesome. Tell me about that. Why did you want to do that? It helps us understand what motivates you and how we can see those skills translating into an Amazon role, whether that's development, whether that's program management. It doesn't matter. Those opportunities and the way that you describe your answers are what we're evaluating for you when we're looking at your leadership principles.
I remember a story from the old days, if I could just jump in here, from of Jeff and everybody like building their own desks. Like the frugality I see is on your list here. I pasted a link in our chat, so like not buying fancy Aeron chairs and desks for everybody in the early days, and building their own furniture was something that everyone at Amazon was doing. And so I see that this is carrying forward from the kind of first principles of the original company.
Oh yeah, all of us have door desks in all of the Amazon buildings. So we still continue to make our doors into desks at Amazon. So that's definitely continued on the entire time we've been around.
That's really great.
Thank you. Thanks so much for explaining that. So I don't think you answered this about in terms of the timing of when the internships start and the apprenticeships, or is it a rolling kind of, they're open as people graduate from the program, or is it only a certain time of year?
So the internship programs are currently just a few times a year. So we run 2 cohorts of intern programs throughout the year, and those are spring and summer usually, just like your traditional internships. Those seem to be the good times for everyone to be an intern, regardless if you're in university or not. The apprenticeship is more on demand. So as we need to fill roles and as businesses continue to utilize the apprenticeship program as a way to hire, we class those programs up. So for example, we have an apprenticeship program for software development that we're starting in May. And we're going to be interviewing for people this month for that interview program. And then we continue to have those, add on demand every month or so. It just depends on the needs of the business.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks. I just wanted to clarify for people. Now let's talk about the actual program. Can you give, I know this is very broad, but maybe you could the more examples you can provide to make it real for people, the better. If you could just give an example of like a project that an intern or an apprentice would work on in the program. And I think I read somewhere that every intern works on not the same project, but makes the project that they work on from start to completion. Is that true?
So that may be true for the university program, but for the programs that I work on, the nice thing about the programs that I work on for the participants is that you're embedded in the team that you're going to eventually work on. So for normal university internships, you may or may not come back to the same team. So that's why the projects are somewhat universal, so that you can see from start to end what an intern's capabilities are. That way you can make a hiring decision, and then when they graduate, they can come back and work anywhere at Amazon. For the programs I lead, both the apprenticeship and the internship, you're going to have an opportunity to be embedded on the team that you will come back to. And there's no break like there is with student programs where you go back to college and finish your university and then come back after you're graduated. Our programs, you could finish on a Friday and be a full-time employee on a Monday. And because of that, you're going to be working on anything that your team needs you to work on. So I'll give you one example. We have an intern right now that's working on the Alexa shopping team, and their project is to develop for the Echo Show, any Alexa devices that have a screen. She's developing what we call a card specific for Amazon Music. So she's actually going to be able to, when she's done, point to her Alexa device and say, you know what I did when I was at Amazon? I made that. And so she's going to be able to point to that card and say, I designed this from scratch. I developed the code, I released it into production, and now it's live. And so that ability to impact our customers is available for interns and apprentices from day one. So you're going to be building towards that. And all of our programs are designed to be able to complete them during the time that you're here. So for an ADA intern, you're going to finish that in 5 months. And for a military apprentice, you're going to have about 9 to 12 months to work on something. Now, the longer you're here, you're going to have more opportunities to build on your skills. Interns are really here for a short time, so we like to have 1 or maybe 2 projects. For the apprenticeship, we're going to be building small projects over time during that 9 to 12 months. And so there'll be multiple opportunities to showcase your skill sets when you're done.
That sounds super cool. And that example is really inspiring. I bet there's some people who would love to be working on that. Thanks. My next question is, this is another tough one, because I know there's no such thing really as a typical day, but if you had to explain a typical day for an intern or an apprentice, whether, for instance, they're working with all different teams or just one team, or if you could just kind of walk the participants through what that looks like when you go to the office. Are you there till 11 o'clock at night? Just kidding. That's not what I really was trying to find out. But what the day would be like. And actually, to clarify, are these remote as well? I mean, that's actually a question that
Sure.
wasn't even thinking of asking you, but that's.
Yeah, so I'll answer the remote question first. So right now, all of our jobs are remote. So we don't have anyone working in the office full time as a requirement. All of our offices are open and safe. So we have all the health and safety protocols for each local municipality and government. We're following all those requirements. So if anyone wanted to work in the office, they could. Not everyone has the ability to have a home office or have a quiet space without, if you can hear my dog barking in the background, although you're going to hear dogs barking because we're very pet friendly at Amazon. So maybe that's not the best example, but if you want to go in the office, you can. And if you feel safe to do so, you can. Outside of that, everyone's remote. I'm remote. Everyone I know is working remote. Our software developers are all remote. But we will eventually be moving back into the office. That'll be a phased approach starting in the summer. But we believe collaboration is very critical to have the success of Amazon. So most of our jobs will likely return back to the office in that collaborative environment. There could be some hybrid versions for some people. There could be some teams that stay remote. It's really up to each business and what they decide to do. But the likelihood is most of our jobs are going to be back in the office. What's nice, though, is, even 5 years ago, when I started working at Amazon, most of the locations were just Seattle and just, the Northern Virginia area. So we're talking Herndon, that type of area. Increasingly, Amazon is expanding. So there's a good opportunity that no matter where you're calling in from today, there's an opportunity for you to work in Amazon. We have an increasing presence in Southern California. We have a gigantic center of excellence for our operations teams in Nashville. Our second headquarters is going to be in Arlington, Virginia. And we have a pretty decent footprint in some of our southeastern locations, like increasingly in Georgia, in Florida. And then we have a nice pocket in New York City, and then we have a pretty big customer support organization in Dallas. So there's a lot more opportunities than there were just a few years ago to be closer to where you are, but likely everyone's going to have to be returning to work some point in the future, hopefully this year when everything hopefully gets back to normal. But a typical day, so if you're an apprentice, your typical day at the beginning is going to be college, basically. You're going to be in school for full days, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You're going to be learning. What's nice is, again, you're paid to do that. So you're a paid student, not a bad gig. But when you get into the office or when you get onto your team during on-the-job training, whether that's an intern or an apprentice, you're going to be embedded on the team. And the benefit of working at Amazon is you could literally work anywhere in the organization. We have interns and apprentices supporting not just our core functions in Amazon in our consumer devices and operations teams or in AWS where I work, but you could also partner and work with our subsidiaries or some of our sister companies like IMDb, Audible, Amazon Pharmacy, maybe even Whole Foods. So there's a greater opportunity to work in many, many roles. And the nice thing about Amazon is, we have lots of jobs and lots of opportunities everywhere. So there's a good opportunity for people to be exposed to lots of different things inside Amazon, which is a great thing.
Thank you. Okay. That's a lot. It sounds like there's a wide range.
Indeed.
So I guess another question I have is, yeah, and all these questions are a little hard because there's so many, as the range is so broad and there's so many different areas it sounds like that they touch on, but can you, I guess, give some examples of a position that an intern or an apprentice would qualify for once they finish the program? And also,
yeah, so again, the whole goal.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What was the second part?
I was going to say specifically, what kind of skills and functional expertise would be required for those roles. And I'm assuming that they would have learned them already in this program.
Yeah, so great question. So all the programs that we run at Amazon through my team are designed to bring you into the team and the role that you're going to complete. So if you come into a data center technician apprenticeship program, the goal is to make you a data center technician. If you come into a support engineer apprenticeship, the goal is to make you a support engineer. If you come into either the apprenticeship or the internship through the software development track, the goal is to make you a software developer. We want you to come in and embed yourself and immerse yourself in that team, in that skill set, so that the end of the program results in you continuing on in that position. You're going to learn the skills as you go through. So whether it's an apprenticeship where we teach you the fundamentals up front, and then you take those fundamentals and put them to practical use on your teams in increasing demand and complexity in the works that you're going to be doing for the team, or as an intern where you get your training off campus with other programs first, and then you complete a project or build a project while you're on the team to showcase your skills. But the goal is 100% to convert you into the role that you're apprenticing for or that you're interning for, because we think that's the one that you've chosen. That's the skill sets that you identify. And depending on the program, you could have little to no technical experience as a requirement to get into the program. As we go through the technical complexities of the apprenticeships, there's more and more basic requirements, but we have programs that have literally no basic requirements, maybe just a high school diploma, and we can bring you into a technical role and get you into a technical career at Amazon. If you want to be a software developer, there's some more basic requirements. You have to have completed a coding program or a boot camp of some case, or have a STEM degree. But anywhere in between, there's a technical opportunity for people, no matter your background or your skill set.
So just to clarify, it sounds like for the internship, that requires prior training, but for the apprenticeship, it's a little bit more on the ground training, on the job training.
Yeah, so for the internships, just because today we partner with organizations, so you're going to be getting that training from the partner organization up front. So that's the requirements, whatever that program would have for the partnerships that we have. But for our apprenticeship program, since we're owning all of the training from start to finish, then we have the requirements for those, and so we can do a little bit more hands-on training.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. So I guess the other questions that I have left, and I'm sure we're going to open it up soon, is just kind of your personal experience. Can you tell us what it's like to be working at Amazon? I mean, we've all read stories, good and bad, about the culture and the lifestyle. I say the lifestyle because it seems like one. And just your perspective on how working there is different than working at any other company. Let's face it, they're running the world right now. So just being an employee there, can you just share some thoughts on that?
Sure. There's two things that I love every day, and the reason I stay employed at Amazon is because of these two things. One, you're 100% right. Working at Amazon is not like working at any other company I've ever worked at before, and that's a great thing. And the reason that that's true is because from day one, no matter what your job in Amazon's going to be, you are handed immense ownership immediately. That's one of our main leadership principles, is ownership. And what that looks like is you will be brought on to do a lot of work that you normally wouldn't be doing on your own in another company, or even have the opportunity to do necessarily at the same level in another company. When I was hired into Amazon, I was hired to help lead our customer service for some of our social media channels, and then had the opportunity to transition into this military program. And the great thing about working at Amazon is if you're good at what you do, you have the ability to branch out and try new things. And so the reason we have an apprenticeship program is because we saw a need and an opportunity to help people in a different way. And so we said, can we try this? And they said, sure. And it was successful and it worked out. So the ability for you to be able to experiment, try things, fail fast is part of our culture, and it's great. And I love it about working here. The second reason I like working here so much is because we help build the future at Amazon. There are things that did not exist when I joined the company that exist now that we invented while we were working here. So if you want to come invent and live in the future, you definitely will do that. I tell every single person that I interact with, if you take a job here, I guarantee you, you'll work on something or be around something that didn't exist at all when you started working here, and it'll be invented in the short time that we're here. So that's the great opportunity about Amazon as well.
Yeah, Nick, I was doing a little startup company, maybe 2006 or something like that. I forget, what was this founding date of AWS? Do you know the date offhand?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
it's around that time frame. And I remember, we wanted to create an internet startup, and we had to rack all our own servers, buying the hardware, plugging everything in. We spent tens of thousands of dollars on a rack of servers for our little startup company, and it was a lot of work. We spent a lot of, we're a bunch of software engineers playing hardware DevOps guys, and then when AWS came along, it's like a superpower magic. Like I can create hardware with my fingertips, just typing at a keyboard, and create services on AWS that let me run my entire operation. So and at a tiny fraction of the cost, especially the upfront costs. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying about, changing the world, since Amazon was had so much foresight to create a service like AWS, and, a lot of the people following, of course, now. Not a question, just a comment.
So,
agreeing with you. Yeah.
I'm not sure you can hear me. My internet's very spotty, so I'm going to wrap it up and open it up. Thank you so much, Nick. Okay, because everyone's frozen on my screen right now. Nick, thank you so much. I know there's lots of questions, so I'm actually going to turn it over to the team to start feeding questions from both Slack and the YouTube channel, and then we'll open it up to get some people over onto Zoom to ask some questions as well. But Mike, maybe you want to kind of manage that from here. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah, I pasted the Zoom link into the chat on YouTube Live. So if you do want to join us, the link is there. And what I would ask is that people, if you can, either use the raise your hand feature on Zoom, or paste your question into the chat box first, and then Juwan and I will kind of be looking through the questions to find what the next best question is. So yeah, we'll do it that way. And yeah.
And okay.
Go ahead, Juan.
Yeah. So I have a question from Slack, and Joel Aris wanted to know if there's any program for UX designers on Amazon.
There is. We are actually starting interviewing this week. So apologies if you didn't get to see that opportunity when it came out a few weeks ago, but that one is interviewing this week, and that's our first UX design apprenticeship program. So it's design and research. So we hope to have that be the first of many apprenticeship programs, and that one is great because, again, it doesn't have a military requirement. It's open to the general population. So we're looking to get more of those set up. So hopefully you'll see more of that later this year, but definitely want to start that as an opportunity to do a lot more types of those apprenticeships.
Thank you. Eduardo had a question about like what the process is for military veterans trying to get into the program.
Yeah, so there's a military apprenticeship landing page. So if you just go on to Google and type AWS military apprenticeships, you'll find our landing page. All of our current opportunities will be listed there all the time. So if you're a veteran or a military spouse, you can apply to those apprenticeship roles if you are interested in them. But by the way, I don't want to oversell apprenticeships or internships. We will not put someone into a program that has the skill sets and the abilities to work day one as a full-time industry hire. So I always encourage people, if you meet the basic requirements and some of the preferred requirements of our roles, please apply to those. Don't think that you have to go into an apprenticeship or an internship as an opportunity. We have too many opportunities out there. So, if you meet those requirements, apply directly. And you can go to amazon.jobs/military. That's all of our military focused jobs at Amazon. We have technical and non-technical jobs all across the country. But if you just go to apprenticeships and search AWS military apprenticeships, you'll find that as well.
Thank you. Kevin Lawton wanted to know if you could discuss the solutions architect and the technical account manager roles.
Sure. Solutions architects and technical account managers are customer-facing roles, and depending on the role, so a solutions architect is more customer-facing in person. A technical account manager is going to be assisting customers with their AWS accounts and providing hands-on personalized support and service for those people, and also helping make recommendations for other solutions that might be of benefit to our customers. Solutions architects are really going to be interacting with leaders of organizations. So Mike probably met with a solutions architect when he talked about setting up his own servers and said, why don't you just let us do that for you? And so solutions architects help design and implement solutions in the cloud for our customers, those that are looking to migrate some of their on-premise operations into the cloud.
No, I hate talking to salespeople. I always just, I just do it all myself and struggle through it. But yeah, I appreciate that role. I was just going to say that Kevin, who asked that question, he's one of the rock stars of our program. He has been helping out so many of his peers, and he's like, I think he puts in more work than any of the staff members here at Reskill American. So thank you, Kevin. Like, you're a rock star already. I could see you working at Amazon and being a great service to people who are trying to help get AWS stuff up and running, if that's your goal. So
and is an Air Force veteran as well. I think at least that's what he says.
That's it. Yeah.
That's amazing. So Asia was asking if you had any advice for or opportunities for getting involved in the blockchain development at Amazon.
That one is not my expertise, unfortunately. So I don't have too many, I don't have a good answer for you. I apologize. But what I would say is, if you're interested in blockchain, and I tell this to any candidate for any role at Amazon, if you're interested, go type that keyword search into amazon.jobs. The URL for all of our job sites is www.amazon.jobs. And you can search for blockchain. And what I tell every person that's applying for a job, we have recruiters that look at every single application. So please, if you're going to apply for a job, make sure you meet all of the basic requirements. Those are the must-haves. There's no wiggle room. If it says degree required and you don't have a degree, we're not going to move you forward in the process. So if you meet all those basic requirements, awesome. Continue on to the preferred. The more preferred qualifications you meet, the better chance you have of getting your resume reviewed by a hiring manager. So I don't have a good answer on blockchain, but take a look at the jobs. I'm sure we have some available. And
I posted your links on the Google chat too.
Great.
Thanks for that, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Could I insert a miscellaneous culture question? I had a question about meetings at Amazon. I was reading something about Amazon meetings. You could go into an Amazon meeting and everybody sits there silently reading a piece of paper instead of talking. Is that right?
So it's half right. So I'll say the first half of meetings, if you're going to have a meeting that's going to be productive, we really want that to be spent reading a document. So we are a narrative-driven, document-driven company. We don't really use presentations in our meetings because if we believe that if you can convince people with your writing, then that's the best way to do it. So we have 2-pagers, 4-pagers, 6-pagers are the longest things that we have, with many, many appendices. But yes, the first 30 minutes of a lot of meetings are going to be spent, if you're the author, you're going to have 30 minutes of nervousness while you sit there and everyone reads your document, and all you hear is pen marks and scribbles as people are writing on your document. And then the next 30 minutes is the discussion of your idea, your concept, your proposal, whatever it is afterwards. And we found that provides a lot more timeliness and more effective meetings when we're talking about writing things down and then communicating afterwards.
Yeah, that is so interesting and so unlike any other experience I've ever had in companies where people sit there and watch PowerPoint slides for an hour.
Mhm.
So the next one, I think I'm gonna just merge these two questions together from Rosemary and Kelvin because it seems similar. Rosemary was asking if you recommend doing this program, which I assume will be Reskill Americans, and then the Amazon internship at the same time, or would that be too much? And then Kelvin was asking if it's RA participant, Reskill participant would need to finish the program before looking at Amazon.
Well, I'll say that's a personal choice on the second question. But what I will say, Juwan, is we tell our apprentices that if you're going to be an apprentice or even an intern, you really shouldn't have any other commitments at the time, because you're not going to be able to do both well. If you're in Reskill Americans and you want to become an apprentice and try to do both, you're going to fail at probably both because they're so demanding and they take all your time. So I would encourage you to complete one program and then go to the other one. Specifically if you're looking at software development, one of the requirements for our software development apprenticeship program is completion of a coding bootcamp or training. So that would allow you to potentially move into the apprenticeship if you completed that. So, I would encourage you to do that. We have some people that ask if they could still work part-time while they're an apprentice, and we tell them, well, it's up to you, but the likelihood is you're not going to be successful. You really need to devote all your time to the program that you're going to enroll in, and that's the best advice I can give you.
Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce this right, but I think it's probably Jesus. And then
Jesus.
he was asking if there is a front end program, and if there is, do you have to be a veteran?
So there's not a dedicated front end program today. We do teach a little front end in our Java training for 18 weeks. You do learn a little bit because we're teaching you full stack, so you want to learn a little bit of that. There are front end engineer roles at Amazon, so there are plenty of those opportunities, but we don't have a dedicated training program because the largest need for Amazon and most tech companies is full stack software development, and so we focus our time getting people trained in those communities. But if you meet the requirements for a front end job today, you can go to Amazon.jobs and look for front end engineering roles. You can type in front end or FEE, and if you meet those requirements, I encourage you to apply. And same for data science. We have lots of data science roles. We have lots of AI ML roles. Not a dedicated program today to train people into those roles, but the way that we develop our programs is when there's a larger demand to fill roles and they want to go through a program that can help train people, that's usually when we see it. So some of our AI ML data science roles, we're starting to see a little bit more increase in, hey, can you help us find some candidates for these roles? That usually means that we have enough people in the spot to be able to mentor and help everyone, because our programs rely heavily on mentorship. And if you can't have someone dedicated to mentor, then it doesn't make it a good fit for the training programs, because it takes away from the ability from the team to be successful. So once teams become mature and scale out, that means there's usually more opportunity for those new roles.
Thank you. So Chris has a question, and I'll just yield to him so he can ask live.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you? Thank you. Thank you. So it looks like I've gotten my question answered, but it was around data science specifically. And yes, you definitely answered that. Yeah, that was my question. So yeah,
Okay.
I will defer back to everybody. Yeah,
Okay.
data science is my focus.
Good to see you,
Yeah,
Chris.
I guess I guess. Yeah, can you hear me still?
Yep.
Yes.
So I guess my other subset question is, Python programmers. Is there a sizable demand for Python programmers in the AWS space from what you've seen?
I would say Python is definitely a component of what we teach in AWS for lots of different roles. So you don't have to be a full stack developer to have a need for Python. A lot of our solutions architects, cloud consultants, and even some of our support engineers benefit by understanding Python concepts. So you'll definitely use it at AWS. So if that's a skill that you have, that's a great thing to build on as you come into AWS, if that's what you wanted to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Marjan had a question too about transitioning from a boot camp to Amazon internship. What's the process to do that? So Marjan, did you want to talk? Did I get that right? If she wants to, she's on the call.
Thank you, Mike. No, totally fine. Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah,
Hi, Marjan.
Hi.
So great question. I think what we're doing now is working with anyone that's completed a boot camp like that to potentially use that as a springboard into Amazon through the apprenticeship program. So we're looking into more of how we're going to partner with different organizations to do that. So for example, the easiest way to do this today is if you were a veteran and completed Reskill Americans program, you'd meet the requirements to go into one of our software development training programs because you had the software development focus with Reskill Americans. As we develop our programs more in the future for non-veterans, we'll look at how we work with other organizations or other completers of those programs to get them into process as well.
Yeah, and since we've been working with Nick and our program is new, so we don't have any guaranteed like on-ramp into Amazon for graduates of Reskill Americans, but all of our graduates, we're going to be working really hard to get you placed and find all the opportunities we can for you. So we'll definitely be working with you to help you apply to Amazon if that's your goal too.
I saw an interesting question I'd like to highlight, Nick, from YouTube, which was if you've lived or abroad and worked internationally, or you speak additional languages, is that something that's helpful and interesting to Amazon?
For sure. Bilingual or trilingual candidates have many opportunities in Amazon if you also have the other requirements for the role. So we have a lot of customer service needs. We have a lot of investigative needs. We have a lot of, technical roles that are for our foreign language speaking customers as well. So definitely there's an opportunity. So if you have those skills, those are great things to have.
I see a question on the Google chat, which talking about not necessarily internship, apprenticeship. So Nick, I'm not sure if this is something you can answer or not, but I was asking about diversity recruiting and what does that mean for Amazon, and how can that help people who might fall into those kind of designations?
Yeah, if you go to if you Google Amazon's positions, that's definitely something you're going to find a lot more information about all the positions the company takes on a lot of important issues. Diversity is definitely one of those for sure. Actually, from our positions, that if you go to that website, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But we say every day loudly that it's critical that Amazon employees are diverse and that we foster a culture where inclusion is the norm. And so we want to continue to do that as much as we can. I'll say it a different way. Amazon needs to look more like our customers. And the more that we can do that,